You're listening to the Rapley's Fusion Podcast.
From where we were going to shoot, like the side of the church, there was, I think, a funeral happening, everyone dressed in black.
Oh, well, that's a good question.
Hello and welcome to, once again, the Rapley's Fusion Podcast. I'm Jack Sargent, and as before, I'm joined by the director of the Cheerleader film, Ethan Ralph Alexander. I'm also joined by model, track and field athlete Georgia Toombs. And this week's very special guest, Worcestershire-based film actor Tom Brinkworth, who plays the younger Ian in the Cheerleader film. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Tom. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you, Ethan. Yeah, thanks for the invite. It's great to be on the show.
Excellent. So, Tom, nice to meet you, Tom. So I'm going to start asking you about your acting, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So I believe you started acting at 11 years old. Is that right?
Yes, that is very true. I started acting when I was 11 in primary school. So I engaged in various musical theatre productions. That was kind of the starting point for my acting journey. And then throughout high school, kind of like engaged in any sort of like drama, performance-based projects, whether it's, again, musical theatre. And then it really sort of developed when I went to university. Specifically, it was the University of Wales, Trinity St David in Carmarthenshire, where I specifically studied BA acting, which was really, really helpful because I learned sort of way more than I ever thought in terms of not just standard sort of acting, like theatre, but, you know, for the art of like filmmaking, for the art of understanding Shakespeare, sort of how to carefully analyze scripts, how to, you know, create characters with improvising, devising, and so on and so forth. And it's, I think it's really helped to sort of boost my career, like sort of in sort of larger ways than I can ever think possible. And ever since I've sort of graduated from university, I've just been trying to engage with various projects where I can, whether it's theatre-based, whether it's social media, online commercials, short film projects, such as Ethan's film project, The Cheerleader, which was a privilege to be a part of. And just continuously trying to build up my skill sets and my profile as I go. But it's been really good so far. So, yeah.
Amazing. And let's go back, sort of rewind the clock a bit. What was your kind of experience like with school and kind of the public musical productions you did there, such as Oliver, I think Rock of Ages, and others? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So in regards to kind of like my early years acting, things like Oliver, Rock of Ages, they really... both different in their own rights, but Oliver was like my very first sort of musical theatre show where I played Mr. Bumble, and I think that really stepped me out of my comfort zone because I felt like socially I was a little bit quite a shy individual, but sort of theatre just gave me a bit of a reason to kind of like get out of my own shell and really just kind of like, you know, say the words I always kind of wanted to say, really, and just to kind of be free in a sense. And I think that's just kind of what, you know, lured me into kind of what that kind of world. And then obviously we did like things like Rock of Ages. Then we did Grease back in high school, and both of them again got quite good parts. And again, they were so good. It's like musically, the acting was great, the people were great, and I felt like it really at that point it really put in perspective that I wanted just to be involved in the industry in some manner or form. That's kind of the base point. And also for like my studies, well, like obviously drama was kind of like like my favourites out of them all, and the teachers there were phenomenal. They really just touched base with like all the elements to really make you feel like, you know, you can, you know, be involved in that industry as an actor, as a performer, you know, anything really. So it was really good.
Sounds really exciting. I mean, is kind of theatre and musicals, is that still something you're involved in, or have you moved purely more to screen acting work now? How would you say it's kind of evolved?
I'd say at the moment I've got a quite good balance between the two. In the sense, at the moment, for example, I'm currently doing a production of Evita in my local hometown in Worcestershire.
Nice.
So playing a member of the ensemble, which it's very good. It's because I've never seen Evita before, but I've heard of the production. Obviously, it's many adaptations, and it's been phenomenal following it through, learning the songs, learning the dance, learning the story behind the character. And again, I think mainly it's always about the people as well, just because it's the community, specifically the theatre community, is just really welcoming. You have a good laugh, and you really just learn new skills along the way. But primarily, I do want to more get involved within sort of the film TV production, because I'm also developing in the study of screen combat as well. Like, I recently actually just had my screen combat and test day, but unfortunately didn't fully pass. But it's still just a bit of a learning curve. But it's that kind of like sort of a realm I do want to be involved in, like the action, sort of the action side, if possible.
So kind of almost a triple threat then, if you can sing.
in some form, yeah.
I don't know about dance, but it's kind of obviously there's that movement involved, isn't there? With the
oh yeah.
Quickly, Georgia and Ethan, have you ever sung? Are you
sung?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, I can't say I have.
No. Nor me.
I think if you want to be in theatre, though, it's probably something that you have to pick up, isn't it, Tom? But you said about your teachers. What was some of the advice that they give you that was really helpful, that made you believe that you can go into it?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I think mainly it was sort of the teachers that I had during university, because some of them had really been involved within sort of film industry. One of them who taught us a style of theatre called verbatim theatre. He had been involved in various BBC kind of like jobs. He'd been working on like things like Gangs of London, all that kind of stuff, and he really just. I think the main advice he really just said is just put yourself out there, like really just kind of like go for the parts that you kind of like maybe never would thought you would go for, but those are kind of the jobs that really just kind of get your foot in the door, really. And I feel like as well, it gets you out of your own head thinking, or maybe you never thought you can kind of like, maybe play this character, or that you could like do this, do that. But I think once you do it, it really puts a bit of an eye opener to kind of all the possibilities. It's sort of similar to like, improvising, devising characters. I think you just got to kind of be open-minded to create creative influence, like being this person, that person, and just I think really just could just being open-minded. I think that was kind of like sort of the main advice, really. And I think just don't limit yourself to like what kind of like your current learnings, but just be open-minded. And I think and they always say is like, look, if it doesn't go the way you want, then you can just say you've tried it, and maybe there's always something else down the line.
And I think you said after school you went to the University of Wales, Trinity.
Yeah,
is that right? And you studied, was the course acting? Was that the course you studied?
Yes, yeah, it was specifically acting. So it was a little bit in the midst, because my second year was during the COVID lockdown. So they had to kind of make a few alterations to the course, because it was more sort of like theoretical in a way. But for the times, obviously, when we weren't in COVID, it primarily, was sort of acting. Like, for example, our first year, it was basically just getting the sort of understanding of like various sort of acting techniques, how to act like stage, how to analyze scripts, getting sort of touch base with like Shakespearean kind of language to really embody those sort of different characters. Because I think there's so many like the Shakespearean stories. I think people like forget that are sort of heavy dramas. Some of the comedies, some are very lovely romantics like Romeo and Juliet. But it is a bit of an eye opener, really, and. I think it was definitely the best decision I ever made. I think the lecturers were great. The students were all phenomenal, because they all had their own sort of level of experience, whether it was like theatre, whether they'd done short films when they were like 16, 17. And it was just interesting collaborating with so many different people who wanted to go in the industry for different reasons, whether they wanted to be actors, producers, screenwriters, set designers, and just learning all these aspects about the industry, because it really just I think that's what it is. It's just a networking like sort of field. You really just you meet different people, and you can. It's helping each other out, elevating each other, really. Which is always good.
Right.
You say you were there during COVID? Sorry.
Yeah, well,
When
when COVID first struck, we obviously were all sent home, like for the first initial lockdown. Or obviously anyone who was able to make it out, like the university before lockdown was implemented. I mean, I knew a few people who were stuck at the campus because I think they kind of left it to the last minute. But for myself, I was able to make it home. But most of the courses were sort of dealt with online, and I think there was a period sort of late in the sort of year, I think late 2020, where we were able to go back, but it was obviously under COVID restrictions, the 2 meter distancing, all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely different, and I think. I think that's probably my only sort of regret, that I kind of wish I could sort of go back and maybe do sort of that second year differently, because I think maybe it could have been like just, I don't know, slightly better. But I still like, enjoyed the lessons and like, the people involved. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, COVID was, I can relate. I was in school during COVID, and it just messed everything up for sure. I remember we had to wear our school uniforms and go on Zoom, and you're at home and it's like, why am I doing this? Yeah, it was crazy. But something that interested me, what you were saying, was you were like talking about learning about different aspects of film and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, so I'm currently at university studying screenwriting. So I was wondering if apart from acting, if there's any other aspects of film that you're looking to get into, or
no, a good question. I mean, as I say before, I'm always kind of open-minded to any and all aspects of like sort of film industry, and as I say, from like kind of my current experience from working in different like film projects, I think again, when you meet different people, they obviously go into it for sort of different reasons. Like I said, some people obviously just like immerse themselves in understanding about screenwriting, with an understanding about becoming like stage managers, producers, a camera crew, lighting crew, and it's interesting. It's interesting seeing how everyone kind of makes a bit of a starting point, and it's always a learning element, really. But I think for me, I think the particular aspects of film I do want to get involved in, because as I say about sort of the screen combat course I'm doing, so specifically action, adventure, those type of kind of like scenarios. So things like, I don't know, Gangs of London, Peaky Blinders, all those kind of like stuff I definitely love, because I love like sort of the realism, the proper high-end action-packed kind of like stories. But I am open also to sort of like lovely dramas, sort of kind of romantic comedy kind of things, because I always think those are quite fun. But I'd say those kind of like that's kind of where I'm sort of at the moment. But yeah, as I say, just always open-minded, really.
Really cool.
Those action genres that you touched on just a moment ago leads quite neatly into my next question, actually. So your firearm training, I think that's something you're quite heavily involved with at the moment. What made you start that training, and how's it sort of going for you? Yeah,
so again, it sort of dates back to, I think, my second or third year of university, because a friend of mine actually from uni, his name's Matt Topiel, and we both know each other since, well, he was in the year above me, so we were kind of like really good friends, and he was also in the BA acting course, so he got a bit of a further insight to sort of the course and all the studies, and was able to kind of like we were able to help each other out in different ways. And he heard about this course called the British Action Academy, and he really said that obviously it was a good way to kind of like develop your skills and like talents as a action performer, or if you want to be an action performer, supporting artist, a stunt double, all those kind of things, or even if you just want to do it for fun, it's really good. And the main guy who founded it, Andreas Petrides, he founded the whole organization, and he's also highly recognized like a stunt coordinator who worked on like the Star Wars Phantom Menace projects and like Gladiator as well. So he's really top of his game. He really just goes like full hardcore at like the training, and really just like pushes everyone like physically and mentally, which and as I say, I started back in 2022, and as I say, recently I've just done my screen combatant test, and obviously it was a bit of a sort of letdown that I didn't pass, but it's a bit of a learning curve. As I say, it's not that it's like he said, it's not that you failed, it's just you haven't met the standards yet. But it's just yeah, like a stepping stone really, and the teachings that he's taught us, I feel like it would apply to any kind of like action drama based projects, such as we work with characters such as pirates, work with medieval knights, work with London thugs, that kind of stuff. Recently for the test, we did like things like ninja, Viking, secret agents, duelist, and musketeers. And it's really interesting seeing the different kind of characters and really just learning the techniques, really creating the stories, and just kind of like working with the camera. How you kind of like bring those characters to life and just really sell it to the audience, make them believe that you are trying to kill each other. And it's great. It really is great.
Absolutely. And I believe you're into weightlifting and bodybuilding as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I try to go to the gym at least sort of like 2-3 times a week, 4 if I can. Just again, like trying to maintain just good like sort of bodily exercise. Really just keep in shape, especially for the course, because it is like high level demanding of good cardio, good stamina, and really just kind of like make sure your body is quite loose and limber, because they always say if you're underprepared, then you really just won't manage kind of capabilities. There's some of the weapons are really sort of heavy. You really have to be on guard. You have to have good energy. You always have to kind of just be consistent, really. But I enjoy it, and I think in terms of like weightlifting, it kind of started back to like again COVID, where it was sort of my only kind of like form for not going insane like during the lockdown. But it became like a good addiction, really. I felt like once I started that, it really just kind of like carried on, went once lockdown ended, and then I just consistently went to the gym, and it was just
sure.
Yeah, it was sort of like euphoria, really. So it was good.
So for a lot of the roles you're going for, it actually helps to kind of be strong and kind of that's a plus.
Yeah, 100%.
Georgia, I know that you're obviously in the world of sport and athleticism. Is kind of the gym, bodybuilding, is that something you kind of hit hard as well, or how do you kind of factor that into your kind of sporting lifestyle?
So with me, where I'm doing like kind of middle distance running, I do have to obviously have an aspect of speed, so you need like power and stuff for that. So I'm in the gym, but I don't think I would describe myself as a weightlifter.
Yeah, are you encouraged not to lift because you'd obviously need to be nimble and fast, and kind of is that counterproductive to be lifting?
No, we do lift because we need the power to really sprint as well, but it's not. I would say I only go to the gym maybe 3 times a week, so it's not like everyday kind of thing. It's more focusing on the actual running training there. It's the everyday part of it. But that's really interesting, like how the athleticism relates to your acting. I hadn't really considered that, and the combat training is really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely sounds like you're.
Thank you. Yeah,
preparing yourself for all sorts of different roles and trying to, tick as many of the sort of acting boxes. Ethan, anything to add to?
Yeah, definitely, because I wanted to go back to Greece, because I remember basically we started with Abby. Abby was the first cast member I had, a part of the cheerleader. And so I cast the actor of Deirdre based off Abby, but then I had Ron come along with Jill. And so I had to cast a younger Ian based off Ron. And so I was happy to find Tom. And yeah, it was just a dream basically that he also had these outfits that he could bring along. He mentioned his experience doing Grease, and that could help kind of the era that we're going for, maybe 70s, 80s, which would link up to the age. And also he mentioned about Shakespeare, where it's kind of a timeless, because those were written ages ago, but it's still relevant today, isn't it? And that was kind of my target with the flashbacks, was to have that romance basically echo from the 80s to present day. And we spoke about some of the glasses movement, and you can see the movement of the glasses from Ian in the flashbacks is the same to the first aider, when the first aider sees Zara. And yeah, that was one of my targets, was just to have it like pay off in that way. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it was a dream as a first-time filmmaker to have someone who was just passionate about kind of being so close to what the style in his clothes as well. So it was great to add Tom to the cast.
So made for the part then, by the sounds of it.
Well, I did want to say also that you didn't get any dialogue, and I've seen your clips on your show reel, and obviously it was kind of like overqualified a bit. for the part. But it's same with Abby. It was kind of just in my head to just do a flashback. As I said, it would kind of explain the relationship between these two characters. Maybe the audience kind of feel more, they can relate to the characters more after they've seen the wedding and stuff like that. But yeah, no lines in it. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know if it went too quickly in the film, or if it was definitely worth doing. But maybe we could have expanded on it. Maybe who knows?
While we're on the subject of the cheerleader, Tom, when you first saw the script, or you first were kind of told the concept by Ethan, what made you want to play the role of the younger Ian, would you say?
Yeah, I think when I got the script, Ethan gave a bit of the overview of, like, the concept of what it was about, and it just, I don't know, it really appealed to me, really, because it felt like it was something I'd never really done before, and even though, like, it was quite like a minimal part for playing sort of young Ian, I still, again, I always see it as a really good opportunity, because it seemed like for the kind of segment we were shooting, just kind of how he was the present day Ian was sort of flashing back to the good times with his wife, when he said he first saw her in sort of the gym, and then obviously how they began their romantic journey, running through the fields, how he proposed, and obviously how they celebrate in the church and doing like kind of a wacky sort of dance that kind of did sort of like,
that's the dance as well, yeah.
I think, again, it was just like, it's like I said, even though there was no dialogue, it didn't factor me at all, because again, I saw it was a great opportunity, because I think physically it just kind of shows the kind of character description, like non-verbally, because I did work on another shoot that was kind of meant to be set back in like the 1930s or 40s, and they're doing it all black and white, so literally no dialogue, no voice or anything. So it's not the first time that I've worked on a project similar to that, and I think I was really glad that kind of we didn't have any dialogue, because I think it just kind of would have overshot like too much, like past all the purpose of like sort of the movie. And I feel like just for the way that we kind of did it, the way we kind of like did the scenes we shot it was perfect, because I feel like for a montage flashback, I feel like it just needs to be quite simple but very effective. And I think the transitions that we did, the kind of music that was laying in the background, and just the emotions that were kind of projecting from both myself and obviously my partner that was playing, it was great. It really was great. And again, it was just a great opportunity just to work with new people, work with a creative and innovative team, and just having someone who was very passionate about the story they were creating. And I just really appreciate Ethan for hiring me on and thinking I was right for the part for young Ian. So I was really privileged to be involved.
Yeah, amazing. And so in terms of the future, obviously we've touched on the cheerleader and sort of how you got into your current acting sphere, but in terms of the future, any particular projects that you got kind of in the pipeline that you're really excited about? Anything lined up that kind of could be a really, really cool thing to talk about?
At the moment, it's still sort of a touch and go, because I haven't actually got like full sort of agency representation yet. I think sort of my next step currently for sort of this year is that, again, I'm still sort of progressing through various elements of like background acting. Like a project I've actually got upcoming is I'll be doing some extra work for Peaky Blinders, actually. That'll be
I've seen those. They're looking for
There's probably been so many shout outs like through social media. So I'll be glad to sort of like be involved in that. Like even just like ensemble cast, because it's just such a highly sensational show. So I am looking forward to being involved in that as well. I think in terms of like my personal progression, I'm also looking into working with this agency called Take 3 Agency, which is like primarily a sort of screen combat agency similar to the British Action Academy, who I'm training with, but they do primarily focus on like submitting action performers for various projects based on obviously their level of skill sets. Like I said, such as obviously Gangs of London, Peaky Blinders, any upcoming like shoots they're shooting within sort of the United Kingdom, any period pieces that obviously require various stunt work, various the combat skills, any kind of level that they think or even especially like period piece looks that would be kind of like suitable for like my personal sort of like character progression. And and again, just like continue my sort of agency hunts, especially through spotlights, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I've had a few shout-outs, to be fair, which has been really good. So I'm just kind of like narrowing down the right ones.
Are you on Spotlight now? Or
yes and no. Like at the moment, my account is currently sort of on pause at the moment because I wasn't really using it for quite an extensive period. But I am planning to get it back by sort of later on, like sort of mid March, like sort of mid to late March, just because there's quite a few things going on at the moment, and the coverage, start the account.
Tom, just for people that are unaware, can you explain what Spotlight is and like how it helps?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So Spotlight is essentially sort of the actors' LinkedIn, really. It's basically sort of the actors' sort of like a jobs sort of dashboard platform where there are some requirements that you obviously have to that you can sign up to. For the way I was signed up was based on like my studies at university. If you have like a certain degree in acting, I think whether it's university, whether it's a highly recognised drama school, drama course, then that obviously applies that you'd be able to put yourself forward for a Spotlight profile. Others, I think, require like a sort of various film credits. So I think anything that's like IMDb credit recognized, then it's obviously a good kind of like starting point to kind of showcase that obviously if you've been involved in various projects that have been highly recognized or that have been involved like specifically through IMDb recognition. And it's just it is a great platform for like getting yourself out there for searching out various jobs throughout like the country, or specifically your kind of like home location, whether it's whether it's within sort of like the West Midlands, whether it's London or the other side of Wales. I think it just depends on like obviously if the jobs and the roles kind of sort of apply to you, because on sort of any platform, they'll come up with saying like, you may fit the profile of like this person because like, you're aged, I don't know, between the ages for 20, 30, you have experience in this and this. And it's just the kind of like, they may give you a few shout outs to various jobs. And it's great. It's great, and it's interesting like seeing about these various sort of like companies, these various casting directors, especially other profiles of other actors and individuals who are on there, because I feel like again it's a good opportunity to network and really reach out to people who have similar interests, who you may feel like there's a good opportunity for collaboration on various projects. It truly is great, and I can't wait to be involved back on the Spotlight profile once again. I think that's kind of the base sum of what Spotlight is.
I was going to use Mandy much as well, because I always found that if you're not represented, Mandy's a better platform to kind of get acting jobs, whereas on Spotlight, really hard.
I found both of you on Mandy.
I found that if you're on Spotlight, it's really hard to get a look in unless you have an agent. So if you're applying for roles, they expect roles to come through an agent on Spotlight, whereas if you're self-repped, then Mandy is a better platform. That's personally what I found.
No. I think you really have hit the nail on the head right there. I think Mandy is sort of again like a bit of a starting platform for anyone just like trying to get themselves into sort of the industry for the first time. I think if they haven't like kind of like if they've only got this sort of like a small sort of base route for like acting training, then it's a good like platform to kind of put up like your recent like sort of headshots to get kind of like various show reels going through there. And it can be a bit dead sometimes in terms of like getting various jobs. I mean, throughout the many years I've had Mandy, I've primarily only received I think about between 2-3 jobs with them. Only because again, like with the various like jobs obviously they go for, it is quite high demanding, and obviously they may look for specific individuals to play certain parts. but as well, it's not specifically just for specifically looking for various jobs. The actual platform itself, because I always use it as a base link to submit to other kind of like profiles on like social media, to submit to various casting directors if they put shout outs for various jobs, to show them kind of like my current profiles, my background in acting, my various show reels in like if they're looking for like an action drama, if they're looking for comedy, if they're looking for various like drama pieces, and also just kind of like a general experience in the particular kind of like areas that they're maybe looking for. So it's a good platform for like just profile recognition, really, and I would highly recommend it to anyone just to kind of get the base of like your character sort of journey, your acting journey going, and then I think just carefully work your way up to spotlight, and it'll be just sort of the next level, really. So.
Oh, amazing. And just switching this slightly to you, Georgia, because we've not heard from you in a while, so I thought I'd include you. Obviously, you do a lot of modelling, don't you? And that's something you're pretty well established in by the sound of things. You've modelled for quite big sporting labels. When you sort of first started getting into that, or even still now, is there like a kind of an equivalent website that for models where you kind of put your resume and you apply for jobs?
Not that I'm aware of. How I got into it was I was scouted by like an agent, so I just went straight to being represented by an agent who basically sorts out my jobs for me and puts me forward for castings. But so not that I'm aware of.
You were just like discovered, or?
Yeah, I was discovered on Instagram.
Oh wow!
Which at first I thought it was a scam, but no, it turned out to be legitimate. I went to go have my first meeting with it, and it was all this is actually a big.
Who's responsible for like photography? Because maybe you have them to thank for it.
I think it might have been my dad who took the picture that got me discovered. Okay. So maybe I should thank him. Yeah.
So. A little story that we had, Tom, when we were filming at the church. We sort of got down to the church, and it was just out in the public. And I think there was a funeral happening, wasn't there, or something like?
I think so. Yeah. Oh yes. We had to shoot sort of around the sort of back area. Yeah.
It was bad timing, wasn't it? Like we had this schedule that we had to be really strict to, because obviously we were going to run out of time, and things like you were parked somewhere, and we had to kind of make sure we're on schedule. Yeah. And we basically turned up, and where we were going to shoot, like the side of the church, there was, I think, a funeral happening, everyone dressed in black, and we had to go round the other side, but it probably looked better that way, didn't it? So
yeah. It definitely worked.
Round the other side is a funeral happening, so.
Okay.
And Tom's there doing his dance.
Right.
I had like confetti as well that I just did.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Obviously, we're just putting confetti there. Like we had to be respectful, so we didn't use the confetti in the end, but we went all out on the wedding stuff. Because again, it's like similar to the police and the cheerleader outfits. I wanted it to be not just fancy dress, like proper. It looks accurate. It doesn't take you out of the film. And so with the wedding, I just contacted this local place which had wedding dresses, and it's called the Bridal and Prom Bar. And I contacted him, said, how much is like the hire and stuff. And she said, oh, you're a filmmaker. Like my son does filmmaking. I know how hard it is as like a first-time filmmaker. I'll give you it for free. So we had like 2 dresses for free, and one of them didn't fit. So luckily the other one, because Abby, she's so busy, she didn't have time to like fit it. So luckily it fit well. And there's a lot of things on that day which kind of went for us, things that went against us, of course. But shout out to Bridal and Prom Bar for a help.
Oh, yeah. That's really nice of them. Yeah, really nice of her.
Yeah.
I got to visit the store as well, and it's really, really nice. The one in they've got 2 stores, so it's a bit different for me seeing like prom dresses, but really cool.
That's really cool. I think honestly, the flashback, the whole bit with the wedding, everything, it looked really beautiful. It's one of my favorite parts from the cheerleader. So that all worked out really well, I think.
Yeah.
I think my plan as well was like, people are going to see how much effort's gone into it, and if you do, you can just say the dialogue without a flashback. But if you can do that, and I didn't really plan it, but I was just kind of nowadays I'm probably thinking, how much is it going to cost? And we got kind of lucky with getting the dresses for free. But yeah, it was like showing how much effort has gone into the film, and that the audience do appreciate that. So it's definitely worth it.
Going the extra mile always shows on screen.
Yep. So speaking about kind of going the extra mile, we did like a painting of young Ian and young Deirdre, and it went into the character of obviously Deirdre's doing this art exhibition in the film. No one shows up, and that's kind of what leads to kind of her doing what she does, and she's frustrated about feeling lonely, and she misses kind of maybe when she was a cheerleader, everyone paid attention to her, and she was this big star, and now at an older age, she no one shows up, and so I thought Ian could be the artist that Deirdre is encouraged to do her own art, and so that was the character of Ian, is kind of like a painter. So the painting actually came from, we did the middle with the characters Zara and Adam actually not there, so I switched the lines around because Michael is busy as a comedian, Cushy was busy with work. So I had to kind of change the script a little bit. And so that's when you see kind of Zara looking through the window at the painting. I kind of had to explain why those two weren't there with the other characters, because it was shot on a different day. So, yeah, I'm glad that a lot of people didn't notice that it was shot on different days and maybe like 2 months apart, I think it was. So that's where the painting came from. And then instead of like hiring another artist, the Rihanna who plays Judge Anna was a painter, so I thought she did an amazing job with capturing the likeness of Tom and Abby, and it was great to kind of for her to showcase her other talents in this film, and good to have, instead of like going and hiring an artist, to have that. And yeah, we quickly snuck in there, shot that little bit, and then edited together. And yeah, what are your thoughts on that painting, Tom? Did it look like you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was really impressed by that painting, really. I think the resemblance, the way she redesigned it, and obviously factored in, like, in my partner's side, like, as a couple, like, together, was really, it was beautiful. It really was. And I think it was just interesting as well, like, kind of seeing how the glasses were kind of implemented as well, because it just kind of like, I felt like it was a bit of a flashback looking at my dad's, back sort of like in the sort of the 80s sort of kind of era, which was, which again, I think, it was the whole purpose, really, really just capture that, period piece, kind of like adaptation. And no, I just really loved it. And it was just great. It was a very meaningful shoot. And I think, just because I feel like it was coming towards a bit of sunset, it really kind of like displayed, the sort of canvas of like painting quite well, and I think really just brought a very kind of nice sort of emotion when he was kind of explaining about how obviously Deirdre was like wanting to be seen, she wanted to be like a big star, painter, and obviously how in his eyes he really just that's all like she was to him, really, like he saw her as the big star, which it's nice.
Love that. So we like to end this podcast with what's fast becoming a bit of a recurring question on the Rap Please Fusion podcast. And the question is, this is for you, Tom. One, what is your favourite film and why? And two, who would play you in a film of your life and why?
Ooh, good question. I kind of have a feeling this was going to come about.
Tom, let me just say mine. Mine was Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that was a weird choice. I'm not quite sure why you went that.
Really?
Fair enough.
It's a little bit of a joke, but we had Marley on last, and he we were just speaking about how good of an actor he was, and it'd be nice to hear like your favorite actor, but also like who would play you. Like, is it probably the same person or?
Yeah, I think. I think if I was maybe think of someone who you could probably maybe close, maybe sort of play me. So that'd be a tricky one, really. I think maybe in my current probably sort of age, if I was like to talk about like my like let's say life story at this sort of present moment, like here and now, I'd maybe say Tom Holland. I think just because I think probably that sort of age range, he probably kind of fits the bill near enough about. I mean, I'm probably a bit more sort of a bit shorter than him. But I think just for kind of that sort of period piece, like sort of, no, I mean for the current like age range, I'd say he probably be someone who I'd like him to play me at my like current age. Oh. And in terms of my favorite film, it's a bit of a tricky one. I'd probably say if I going back to sort of like my favorite films like action adventure, that kind of genre. If I had to, if the one I could watch again and again, it would probably be Hot Fuzz. I feel like it's just one of the films.
The one I said.
Yeah. Did you say that
was yours?
Did you?
That was mine because that's such a. I watched that film kind of wanting to be a policeman after.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's because it's got like just so much involved in it. It's got good action, good comedy timing, a bit of a drama and family drama in the mix. Towards the end, and it's just I mean Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. You just can't beat them really. And like again, the action, just the whole shootout at the very end is just it's just a classic. Like you just.
Yeah. Have you seen Spaced?
Yes, I have. I love that show. Yeah,
right.
I've seen it. I've seen everything Edgar Wright's done.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just a big inspiration, and kind of you always kind of look for a reference. Though your people ask for references. Like some ideas I come up with, I think that's completely original. But for people that kind of people ask for references, don't they? So it's always that. It's always like his films, and even Scott Pilgrim was one. Yeah. I showed to cinematographers and actors. So yeah, everything that he's done, I've seen, and yeah, just a massive fan. I think in a lot of film schools as well, they study Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz as well. So yeah, it's always a good one.
For good reason. And Georgia, finally, anything to add to this part of the conversation?
I'll tell you what I will say. I was thinking that Tom Holland would be the actor you were going to say. I really was thinking it. And so
we've got Zendaya as well, haven't we? So.
I can see Tom Holland playing both of you. You too, Ethan, potentially.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I can see
maybe.
Yeah. Got a bit of a Peter Parker type style.
You make a bloody good Spider-Man.
That's a really good compliment. I think that's like a dream role for a lot of people. We can ask Tom that, like, what's your dream role, Tom?
Yeah. I think I think you kind of already said it. Really, I feel like if I could play any character, I mean, again, it's sort of a cliche, but yeah, Spider-Man would be the dream role. But I think if I had to do a character aside from Spider-Man, because I feel like so many people like have always wanted to play him. I'd say I'd want to play. I mean, you guys may have heard of him. His character from a video game. They've already made a film about him. Uncharted. Again, Tom Holland. He plays a guy, Nathan Drake. But originally it was based on a video game. If anyone's heard of it, Uncharted. It's based about this sort of action, like this adventurer who goes kind of like exploring. It's sort of like Indiana Jones. He goes like hunting for ancient objects that have been missing for thousands of years. But it's a proper high-end sort of action, stunt game that literally it defies all possibilities. Where literally there's one bit where he's hanging from like a derailed train, or he survives like a plane crash. It's just bonkers. It is bonkers. But the character, he's so fun. He's witty, and he's just he's brilliant. So I think if I had to play a character, it probably would be him in that sort of action adventure realm.
I think the dream role, though, we're going way off topic, but the dream role for any actor, correct me if I'm wrong, James Bond, surely.
I think if we're going for like the dream role,
the ultimate, surely.
Yeah, the ultimate. I think the ultimate dream role would be James Bond. Yeah, and I think
Georgia, would you say there's like a ultimate female acting role or character? That.
Yeah, you want to see that?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
There you go. You got the Sean Connery right there.
Well, we're going to a Bond discussion now because I'll happily stay for another hour if you want to do that.
Well, it's funny because I was just thinking it before Jack said it. I was thinking it's like, but it requires a certain type of swagger as well, doesn't it?
But I think you've got to have suaveness, a bit of toughness, a bit of ruggedness, I think, as well. All the qualities to play Bond, and it's
Yeah, and I feel like nowadays it's kind of being minimalised to very sort of younger sort of actors, and I feel like for Bond, he's got to be someone who's a bit more of a mature level, like over 30, maybe at least 35.
I'd say
like you say,
upwards.
Yeah, sort of, like mid to late 30s. He's got to have that experience. He's got to have that kind of like history. He's not just like an up and coming or man of mystery, big spy, at a young age.
That's what I fear a bit from the new Bond film, that they're going to make an origin story, which personally I don't care about. I don't care how Bond became Bond. I just want to see Bond be Bond, because I feel with the Daniel Craig films we had a lot of now it's how he became Bond. I don't care. I just want to see Bond go on a mission, kill the bad guys, get the girl. Do you know what I just want that old formula.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this kind of massively in-depth character study that's an origin story. I think Bond personally needs to be fun again, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's kind of like what they're doing with the new Bond game. They're obviously making it more of like an origin story, which again, I say that is kind of fine. I feel that's the exception. When it comes to, again, like, the cinema, the big screen, I feel you want that, originality. You don't want just a backstory about the character, because you know who he is. Like, obviously, he's obviously at MI6. He's, the top dog, big spy, the big spy. And it's just, I think that's what you just want to see him be.
Absolutely. Well, I feel we veered well off topic, which is not a bad conversation. But I think it's been a great chat. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, were you going to ask Georgia a question before I interrupted?
I was going to ask Georgia. A female acting role. We say James Bond. Is there a female equivalent that female actors or anyone really can sort of aspires to play?
To be honest, I was trying to think, and I can't think of one that's like just like one specific one as big as Bond. The only thing that was coming to mind was like maybe Barbie. That was a big one, but I can't really think of like one, like a franchise, like a big.
No,
not really.
Was there? I guess
would you say
they're making a new Tomb Raider, aren't they?
What? I was kind of going to say that.
I was going to say that because you mentioned Indiana Jones, didn't you? And maybe that's the equivalent to that.
Yeah. I think it kind of goes back to kind of like what genre you want to be involved in. Whether it's like, I don't know, you want to be Hugh Grant in like a rom-com, like Notting Hill and stuff like that, or if you want to be again action adventure, Indiana Jones, or horror, you want to be Jason, obviously with the hatchet and all that kind of stuff. I think it just kind of depends what kind of like area of genre you'd want to be in. But it is a good question. Like, it's all about the ultimate characters that you want to sort of portray.
Yeah. No, the only other thing I was thinking, maybe Disney princesses. Those are like roles that I think probably some female actors aspire for. Those kind of roles.
That's true.
Like a completely different genre.
But would you say like have a sort of specific like genre of character you'd want to play? Like so not necessarily like a character like nailed down, but like if you could be involved in like a high-end genre production of, like, I don't know, if it's horror, if it's action, if it's a beautiful drama, like what would it kind of be?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't imagine acting. I mean, I don't really have any acting experience or anything like that. I'm trying to think. What would I want to? I
guess that you write a lot of sci-fi stuff, don't you? And kind of fantasy.
Yeah, I think probably something that I enjoy writing. So I do kind of like sci-fi, dystopian, or kind of dark fantasy, something like that, I guess.
Kind of like a Blade Runner type sort of dystopian sort of No, that sounds really good.
Love that.
I was just going to say as well, Joshua Gill, who plays the First Aider, he auditioned for the Joker. I don't know how it went, but it was just a character that came into my head of like speaking about dream roles and stuff. That's a big one, isn't it? So yeah.
Joker, yeah. I feel like the Joker's been ruined by that awful last film.
That's why they should have given it to Joshua.
Yeah.
Right, gang. Is that all we have time for this week's show?
I think so, yeah. I think we don't want it to be too long, and we've got some great stuff there.
I think we've had a great discussion. We've covered everything from acting, a bit of gym in there. We've talked about ideal film roles, favourite films. Did you say your favourite film, Tom?
Yeah, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. Yes, that's it. Sorry. Hot Fuzz.
It's a great thing to hear, because it's like when you love something so much and other people do as well, you kind of like, I don't know, you're just friends straight away, aren't you? And it's
brilliant.
I was going to say something. One of the cast, I recommended the film to them, and they said they like got bored halfway through, and I just thought, what on earth? I don't know what sort of films I enjoy, but yeah.
Oh no.
Oh dear, that's a red flag and a half.
I'm not going to say who said that.
Don't expose them.
Well, on that bombshell, thanks so much, Tom. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and getting to know about your craft. As always, thanks, Georgia.
Thank you.
The man behind the madness, Mr. Ethan Ralph. We'll be back next time. Till then, goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you very much for having me on the show, and nice meeting you guys again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.